Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. I hope this is working. I'm going to check on my second monitor and see if I can see myself. This channel is currently unavailable. That's a good start. Let's give it a minute. I think there's like maybe a 30-second delay or so. I hope. Nothing yet. My predictions for tonight's stream. Teething problems. This is the first stream. I've done some preparation. And my second prediction is there's going to be some lighting issues because the sun is setting. I have a window here. It's natural light. It's north facing. Very nice. Very blinding during the day. Sunlight straight into your eyeballs. Um, but we'll make do. See how it goes. Still nothing on the stream. I am streaming the right me. Am I? Oh, no. Ah, I'm looking at someone else's stream that doesn't exist. Okay, there we are. We're in business. Right. So, tonight we're going to be streaming some Django development. Django and Bootstrap. We're going to build a website. Django uses Python as its a web framework. It uses Python as its programming language. I've used it before professionally for a few years. I was considering using Docker as well tonight, but uh, you know, probably best to start off with something easy. So I have a project in mind. Let's start off by creating a. Realize my screen's just gone black. I'm going to start off by creating an OpenOffice document. New text document. I believe that's right. Add this to the stream so you guys can see it too. Window capture. Let's call that Libra. And for those of you wondering, I'm using the i3 desktop on Linux. LibreOffice Writer. Okay, brilliant. We can see. Right, so this project is really for building out my portfolio. I'm planning to be a freelance sole trader, and I've worked professionally as a web developer for over 5 years. But I don't have a portfolio. I've worked on existing sites that are out there, but I don't really have a personal portfolio. So I thought while I'm building one, I run a little stream and show other people the process. So what I'm going to build, let's get a nice big font here. Everyone can see. And I'm going to make the text red. I'm going to make the text red, I think that's right. Squirrel Spotter. This is the website. It's about spotting squirrels. So where I live on the Isle of Wight, and we have red squirrels. And in most of the UK there are squirrels, but there are grey squirrels. The grey squirrels carry a disease that doesn't affect them, but if they mix with red squirrels, the red squirrels get infected with the disease and they all die off. On the Isle of Wight, we don't have any grey squirrels, so we have a population of red squirrels. And they're quite popular. Squirrels are seen as rodents by some people, which I guess if you live in a big city, it kind of makes sense. But on the island here, they're cute little woodland critters. So the website is going to be, hold on, let me get the whiteboard of truth. Oh, I've just noticed that you can't see me on the stream. I can fix that. because you won't be able to see the whiteboard either. How's that? Okay, the whiteboard of truth is here. And I don't know if you can read anything that's on there, but that's okay, because I'm going to write it in this document anyway. See, I did prepare. Put that back over there. So, the idea is that you spot squirrels and you post them on this website, and then people can give you a thumbs up, say that is a nice squirrel. So we need users of the website. I'm not going to go into details of this now, but this is going to use something called AllAuth, which lets you use social logins, such as, you can log in with your Gmail or your GitHub or something like this. We also need squirrels. My first kind of draft or thought of like what kind of website am I going to make, I was thinking of some kind of product review. So I started off with products, and then I thought, no, products are really boring, but squirrels are less boring. So we're not going to have products, we're going to have squirrels. The other thing we want is people to be able to come and like your squirrels. I thought of like having a rating system, so maybe you could rate a squirrel out of 5 stars or something. But that would lead to favoritism, and nobody wants that. So we're going to have just a likes. People can like it. You can never go wrong with that. Right, Facebook. No rating, we have likes. Comments. Can people comment? No, they can't. Because I don't want to deal with that. If people come to my little portfolio site and there's comments enabled, let's not go down that path. I don't want to have to administer this thing. But one thing that I would like to add, this is a nice to have, is location. Oop. Let's take the strike through out. Now, I mean, I could just put it such that you have like a free text field and maybe you put a postcode or something like this. That's a reasonable approach. But one of the databases I worked on was actually geographically aware, and you could put like latitude and longitude into the database and it understood them and would actually show you on a map where that is exactly. So I think that's quite neat. This would require PostGIS, which is a subset of the Postgres database. Now we're going to be using Django. I should actually put this at the top here. We're going to be using Django with Bootstrap. By default, Django uses, I think, I can't remember what it's called, like EC-SQL or something like this. We'll find out what it's called in a moment. So then I'd have to configure it to use Postgres and PostGIS. So it's a nice to have. We'll add that in probably in a later episode. So this is our design document. So before I save it, I'm gonna make a repository so everyone can download this. If you're following along at home, then you probably won't need this. Let's make a new repository. Squirrel Spotter. Public, sure. Git ignore. I think they have a Django. No, they don't. They do have a Python template. How to read me? Yeah. Great. I've already made it a directory for this, so let's delete that, and I'm going to git clone. I think like this. Squirrel Spotter. Boom, we're in. Fantastic. I'm wondering if I quickly grab a git ignore from another project that is already Djangoed. Cat.getIgnore. If I can find one. It probably looks like I'm doing nothing on your screen. I am. It's just on a different screen. Okay, well, scrap that. If we accidentally push too much stuff, it doesn't matter. It's GitHub's bandwidth. It's not mine. Right. So this is a Python project. I'm going to use pip to pull in Django, and Bootstrap will be added later. So the first thing I want to do probably is set up a virtual environment, venv, and we'll just call it env. Sure. Then we need to activate that. Env bin activate. If we look at pip freeze. Oop, freezy. Okay, nothing. So pip install Django. Right, that was easy. Let's see if it works. No, it won't. What do I need to do next? You can see it's been a while since I last did this. Let's jump onto Django document. Django tutorial. Django project. Python and Django version. Okay, yeah, sure. Start project. Now this is an interesting. Do I want to put this in root? What is it? Start project. Oh, Django admin. Okay, I have that. Start project. Squirrel Spotter. Now, do I want to put this directly into this folder, or do I want to put it in its own folder as a subdirectory of the repository? Oh, hey Toby. Any ideas? Should I put it in the dot in here, or should I put it in its own folder, like web? I would do a poll, but there's only one of you, so you vote. You let me know. Dot or web? And if you make the wrong choice, it's your fault. Its own folder. Okay, that sounds sensible. Let's go with that. Oh dear. Please, web does not exist. Whoa, I thought you were going to create it for me, buddy. Alright, sure. Let's just make the directory now. Sure. Get used to doing that. Okay. ls web. There we have our web. Actually, that's a good call, Toby, because now I can save the. I don't look at my job applications. Squirrel Spotter. Design document. Save that in the parent folder. Great. So the next step, let's go into the web. I think the next step is Django admin start app. Squirrel Spotter. Maybe we just call it Squirrel. I think that's the next step. Oh, okay. Well, let's run the server. Let's see if it works. Did we miss a step? Oh, okay, never mind. Let's try this. But hey, off we go. Django 5.2. Crikey. The last time I used it, I think it was like 4.2. All those years ago. Last year. So, where are we? We're in the web folder. So now I think we just do Django admin. So we've started the overall kind of Django project. Inside that project, you can have multiple sites or multiple parts of your site segmented, which are broken out into Django applications. In this, we're just going to have one big Django application, probably. But for example, the all-auth is a separate application that you pull in as a dependency. So start app. I'm just going to call it Squirrel. I have not come up with any naming convention. We'll just wing it. Okay. Now we can open this up in everyone's favorite editor. Open folder. Squirrel Spotter. Yeah, let's open this folder. Repository in the parent folder. Always never, yes. No, not today. Right. So we have Squirrel Spotter. This is the overall application project, excuse me, and then Squirrel. So I think the first thing we want to do is add a new path, and we'll just add it as root, and we will go for squirrel.site.urls. I think that's right. Actually, that is probably not right. I probably need to import this. What would be really handy at the moment is if I had one of my examples open on the side. Or we can just find it here. Yeah, that's fine. Import include and path. I am going to try and stay as close to PEP 8 as I can, which is the Python style guidelines. So you notice I put include before path because it's alphabetically in that order. And these two lines here that you can see, this is the 80 character line and this is the 120 character line. Back in the old days, when computers were first invented, and you had a black screen with a blinking cursor, the screen was only 80 characters wide. So when you were writing code, you had to keep your line of code less than 80 characters. And that is kind of carried over into a general best practice in a lot of scenarios. I mean, these days it really doesn't matter, but if you are finding you have very long lines of code, something's probably going wrong. And we're definitely going to have lines longer than 80, especially today. So include, what was it? Squirrel.urls. Okay, we need to go into our settings and let this know that we actually have, I think it's installed apps. Did I already skip over that? I don't see it. Maybe it's on the next page. This looks right. It wants us to migrate installed apps. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. And interestingly, it wants that at the top. I would have thought the Django stuff would go above your own custom things, but oh well. Squirrel. Squirrel config. I also saw it mentioned making the migrations. So Django comes inbuilt with a web server, as you've seen. We've got the website running, and a database as well. which we discussed earlier with the SQLite or Postgres. It does this through, you manage it. You don't have to talk directly to the database. You can if you want to. I don't like query language, so I avoid it as much as I can. And Django gives you a Pythonic way to talk to the database using models. Any basic site is going to have some inbuilt tables like user table and things like this before I go and define my own. So I'm going to Django admin. I think it might actually be Python again. Let's have a look. Python manage run server. Nope. If I skip over it. Yeah, Python manage migrate. So if I make migrations, it probably won't do anything because I haven't added any custom things yet, or it will throw a big error. Let's see what this is all about. No module named squirrel.urls. Great. Fix that. Make migrations. No changes detected. That's what I was hoping to see. So we can just actually migrate. And there you go. It built the database. And it will probably give us a... Oh yeah, SQLite 3. So there you go. It's created the database with all of these things. Looks like a user table and some other admin bits. Okay, let's bring this back in. Oh, apparently we're doing Terraria speedruns. That's good to know. Yeah, you know what? Let's pause for a moment and I'll fix that. Hey Toby, do you want to be a mod? I have no idea how to do this. It's my first time, okay? Treat me kindly, guys. Speedrunning normal Crimson. Wow, that must be from, I'm gonna say 2017. The last time I did a Terraria speedrun. The last time I streamed, I think. What are we doing? Okay, let's put in Django. Are we going all caps and exclamation marks or? Yeah, we're writing the game, and then we'll speedrun it. Django Bootstrap. Squirrels! Exclamation mark. Category. Do they have? They don't have a programming, do they? Toby, what's the category when you're doing sciencey stuff? I see it all the time, and I can't remember what it is. Oh. Science and technology. Let's go with that. Tags. English, yes. Programming. Now we're programming, boys. Web. Just web. Web app. Sure, I guess it's a web app. Django. See if they got that. They do. But it's not got a capital D at its pointing. Django. Rerun. Branded content. Content. No, I think we're going to be family friendly stream. He says, till he starts swearing at Django. Okay. Django Bootstrap Squirrels, Science and Technology. Great, we did it. Right, so where were we? Where were we? Oh, I think it's time for some coffee. Coffee o'clock. Right, I'm jumping ahead of myself and just thinking I can do it. It's going to throw that error again. So what does this reckon we do next? I'm surprised that it's doing that actually, because did it not tell us to put that in? Unless, yeah, this one, polls.urls. Oh, oh, yes, sure, of course. I missed all the things. Right, I'm saying include squirrels.urls, but that file doesn't exist. So let's go with that. Squirrels.py. And this is what Django calls routing, and I think this is a term that's used in other frameworks as well. I saw it used in Laravel, which I have no experience in, but I watched a few videos. Laravel is another framework. It uses PHP instead of Python. Um, so the web server will first go into the urls.py for the project, and then that will route any request into the specific application's urls.py file. And you don't have to call it urls.py, but that's the convention, so we'll stick with that. And I'm just going to copy paste because that's easy. Views.index. So if someone comes to my website and they just go to the root, the slash, it will include this, it will jump into this file, and it's going to import from views, which is this file here. By the way, Toby, is everything big enough on the screen? Is the text like small? So I just noticed on my laptop, which I'm watching it on to check everything looks okay, it's a bit tiny, small but readable. Okay, Mr. Eagle Eyes, take your word for it. Well, we'll continue with it like this for now, and next stream I'll make it bigger. Okay, so let's just chuck this in, make sure everything works. I think invalid character. Well, that's great. Uh-huh. Sure. Oh, I copied the title from that page. Oops. No changes detected. Lovely. Let's run the server. So Python. Let's do one server. And I can just double click this. Triple click. Click. There we go. Page not found. Okay. Obviously missed something. I think that should work. What's going wrong? Let's try with, what did it recommend, Squirrel? Oh, maybe you just don't need the slash. Genius. My voice is a bit quiet. Oh dear. Is that better? Is it? I just moved the microphone slightly towards my mouth. A bit. Yeah. Okay, I did have some predictions before I started. The lighting and teething problems, and yeah, microphone was the other one. Am I going to get away with this? The camera I'm using is it cost I think £30. That's £30 British sterling to you Yankees. Like a few years ago. I've never really used it, but the quality, it says 2K on it. I don't know if that's true. And microphone as well. So maybe I need to invest in maybe a camera and probably a microphone. But for now, let's see if I can remedy that with. in OBS. No, it's turned all the way up in OBS. So I don't know. Just turn your speakers up, mate. You don't think I need to? Yeah, no. Just shout, mate. Oh, I don't know. I wonder how long before my neighbors start wondering what the hell's going on. Okay, where were we? Getting sidetracked. Hello world. Okay, we need squirrels. This is lacking. This is severely lacking in squirrels at the moment. So on the squirrel trail that we have on the island here, it's the red squirrel trail, obviously because it's red squirrels. And someone decided to write some graffiti on the red squirrel trail sign. They put an F at the beginning, so it became Fred Squirrel Trail, which I thought was rather cute. I think it's been there for years, and I'm pretty sure it's still up because everyone thought it was funny. So our mascot for the website is going to be Fred Squirrel. Um, is he going to be AI generated, or are we just going to? I don't know. I suppose I could actually go outside and take a picture of a red squirrel. That might be something. I could even do a live stream of that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But okay. We need some squirrels. So at the moment, our views.py is just returning this HTTP response. You can't really do much here. You just write some text. We want to actually make a HTML page. Then we can put the Bootstrap in and make everything look pretty. Bootstrap is a CSS library. It just makes your site look nice without any effort. And it's pretty easy to learn. So let's make a folder templates. Squirrel. That's not a folder. Move to trash. So I'm not entirely sure why you need a folder called Squirrel inside your templates folder. This is where all your HTML files go for each app. And we'll call that, I don't know, just index.html. But that's the structure of it. So it's in Squirrel, template, Squirrel, index. So let's just do a quick, okay, yeah. I've only just installed VS Code. I usually use like Vim because I'm a masochist. And you can add some really cool add-ons or plugins, are they called? Extensions, that's right, in VS Code, where if you start like a new HTML file, it'll just give you all of the boilerplate straight up, uh, just to make life easier so you're not having to retype the same things over and over again. I might look into that one day, not today. We're not even going to put a head on this, we're just going to go straight for the body. H1 squirrels. Now, how do we get this? Number 2. We are not doing models yet. This is query language. This is I think Toby, you know query. No, I'm not going to use Tailwind. I could use Tailwind. Why do you say Tailwind? Why Tailwind? Is it because that's what prime carriers were doing? Yeah, okay. Well, so I'm doing this now because it's familiar to me, and I'm building a portfolio, right? But when I finish this project and I'll put this portfolio up, I'm going to come up with another project, or maybe you guys can come up with another project idea. And that one's going to be in Laravel, which is PHP, and I'll use Tailwind. So that I'm just, another, what do they say, feather in the cap? Sure, tool on the belt. Yes, getting our idioms in there. Okay, yeah, so this is query language. This is SQL. Yeah, I don't like it. In fact, this is actually something I really should learn. Being a web developer and all, it's kind of important. So far, 6 years professional web developer. never had to write any. There was one time I was working. We were doing healthcare. We were in the healthcare sector, so it's very sensitive patient details, people who are discharged from hospital, getting repeat prescriptions, all sorts of things like this. Very sensitive data, and the piece of code I was working on needed the database to be altered. So I discussed it with my colleague who kind of administered the database for us. And I said, like, I need this table changed in such a way. And he said, okay, yeah, just write the query and then send it over to me and I'll run it. This was really scary. And we were doing everything in production. Don't tell anyone. But we were doing everything in production. We didn't really test it first. So I was like, okay. I went off and kind of spent a few hours putting together this fairly simple query. And then took it over to him and I said, look, can we just sit down and read through it together? Because I'm not that comfortable with query language. And he said, yeah, okay, that's fine. So we're at his computer. We've got his editor open that's connected straight to the production database. And I talk him through it and he's like, yep, that's fine. And he said, yeah, okay, go ahead, run the query. It's fine. Now on my computer, the query editor I had, the shortcut to run the current query was Control and Enter. On his editor, the Control and Enter shortcut didn't do that. What it did is run every query that he had open on his computer. So we had about an hour of panic going, oh my God, what queries did we just run? Thankfully, there was nothing destructive. It was like in the middle of the working day as well. So, yeah, query language. Right, where are we? Squirrels. This is still model stuff. I don't want to do this. This is admin stuff. We don't care. We want a pretty looking web page. Come on. Okay, templates. Here we go. Index.html. This is what we want. Output. Views that actually do something. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. Context. Template. Right. This is what I want. I want this line specifically because I know what I'm doing. And we're going to pepate this a bit by making it easier to read. He says, not being able to read what he's doing. That, like that. Sure. Right, guys? What's the context? Context. We can actually just have that empty at the moment because we're not going to pass anything. And then the request. Template or render. Okay, the request is up. All right, we need the template. This is actually going to change, but this will do for now. HTTP response loader. Yeah, this will do for now. Actually, this might actually do for the whole project. We're going to Squirrels. So I think template does not exist. Oh dear. Probably skipped a step somewhere. So yeah, it's got the same structure. It's polls, templates, polls, index, and we've got squirrels, squirrel template, squirrel index. Can you see what's wrong? Squirrel. There we go. Boom. Squirrels. All right, there you go. Project done. Goodbye, everyone. Okay. What do we need to do next? Bootstrap. That's what we need. So I think it's getbootstrap.com. Yes, it is. read the docs. Okay, so this is the life of being a programmer, by the way. It's going onto the websites. Sometimes you just go to Google and ask Google, and then you read the docs, or you read Stack Overflow, and then you go, yep, that looks kind of right. You put it in, doesn't work, fiddle stuff around. You know, if you go to like university or you do a Udemy course or you read a book, it's like, oh yeah, you've got to learn how to traverse trees with binary searches in C. You don't do that when you're working as a programmer. All those kind of problems are solved. You just import a library that does it for you. I mean, it's good to learn, so you understand what's going on under the hood. But your day-to-day stuff is, you know, a lot of the time you'll be like, oh, I've done this kind of project 100 times. I just copy paste one I've already made and move things about a bit. I'm surprised I've got this far actually without one of my old projects side by side. Okay, so to get the Bootstrap, we are just going to copy paste this. So the Bootstrap CSS is hosted here on this JS Deliver site, and you just pop that into your own website. It will pull it in. It's completely free. If you are running a big business or something, I think there are like licenses and tiers and things, but for personal stuff, it's free. Hello world, brilliant. And you'll notice the font change. That's important. Squirrels. Okay. So then let's look some more at Bootstrap. It might give us a nice example. Containers. So container in Bootstrap, you build everything inside containers. You have nested containers, and then inside a container you have columns and rows. So the way that you kind of lay things out is in these columns and rows that then can have a container inside them with columns and rows. So I think if we just do this, we should see the site change. Oh yeah, it's moved. It's also the nice thing about Bootstrap is it's reactive. So if you're on a mobile phone, it's going to look great. If you're on a MacBook, it's going to look great. If you're on an ultra wide, it's going to look great. I mean, better than what this looks. It gives you the ability to make it look great. Let's see. So I've only got 20 minutes left of the stream. I'm going to jump over to one of my other projects and copy and paste some code to get it looking nice. Let's see. This index. Okay. Sure. Did I copy? So I realize you can't see anything. Fear not. We want to take out the href. Or actually we can just point that back at itself. I'll take these out. I've got to take these out because otherwise the page won't load because it will be trying to look through my Django project for something called bank, which doesn't exist. And we'll just go squirrel and spot. Oop, squat, spot, and SS. Welcome to Squirrel Spotter. Sure. Squirrel Spot. Welcome to Squirrel Spotter. All right. Looking brilliant already. Look at that. Working menu. No effort required. Thank you, Bootstrap. Best Bootstrap. So what I used here is a Bootstrap class called a card, which isn't really intended to be used as a whole web page. It's like when you have a floating element, like a pop-up dialog or something like this. But I think they look quite nice, and just like to get something up there is kind of convenient. I'm wondering what is the website actually going to look like? It's not going to stay like this. What I need to do is download some, maybe Krita, so I can draw and plan what the site is going to look like navigation-wise and where things are going to be. Because just programming blind is not going to help. Or, I know what I'll do. Off stream, I will put my collection of pens to use, which I've got here. Well, some of them, because I'm a autistic man-child that likes colourful pens. And graph paper. Yes, graph paper. I know I bought it for a reason 10 years ago. I'll do graph paper. Oh, that's kind of cool. And you can see that I tried to do a kind of pixel art, I guess, or dot art computer. Can you see that? Does that even look like a computer? Yeah, sure. Kind of looks like a computer, doesn't it? An old computer, not the ones we have these days. All right, so let's look at the design docs, see what we've finished so far. We've got Django, we do, and we have Bootstrap, we do. Right. So now we need squirrels. We've got the page. Now let's get some actual squirrels. Okay. So as I said, this is where we talk to the database. The models.py is telling us what tables and fields we have. So let's think about this. We definitely need a squirrels table. And each squirrel can have maybe a name, a picture, a name, and a location. We'll probably have like a created on as well, or spotted on, I suppose. We're going to have likes. Now, does that make sense as being maybe like an integer, a counter on the actual squirrel? Yeah, it does. That makes perfect sense. Okay. So, all right, let's just type this out. So, we want a squirrel. Got a spotted on. What did I even say? What were those 5 things I just said? So I've been ignoring chat, haven't I? Still considering doing a master's. Dude, you should. Because my life is more suffering, yeah. But how are you going to find the time because you're so busy with work? Very. Have I ever gone into a job where I had to write a function for finding the area of a square? I mean, I did game development, so I probably done that. But again, it's like it's baked into when I was doing game development. Um, I did it for native Android, so that's all like UI elements, buttons, and it's already all programmed in. But when I moved over to multi-platform, we were using something called Adobe Air, which is basically Flash, Adobe Flash, but it utilized the GPU, whereas Flash only used the CPU. Um, and Adobe were like, hey, let's make a new one, uses GPU. It was really good, actually, Adobe Air. Really great that you could just write one project and it would deploy to iOS, Android, desktop, probably Windows Phone, I guess, other things, web as well. But they discontinued it, or they sold it off. So yeah, I did like collision detection in that, which would probably involve things like calculating the area of a square, like knowing where it's is in coordinate space. So yes, technically yes. Only reason I'm considering something like CS is I wish my undergrad covered more generic stuff like web software, DBA. Yeah, I feel you. It was quite heavy on the security forensics. Is that right? Huh. Uh, okay, that rings a bell. I guess that's why. Yeah, yeah. So when I was at uni, it was like you had the course specific parts, but then you also had the general computer science that everyone did. So like some of the modules was everyone and it applied to everyone, and then you branched off into your specific areas. But is a master's the way to go? I can see your thinking because it's like you can get the knowledge and the coverage of the other areas. But it's a master's, that's quite a big commitment. Mm. Difficult decision, isn't it? I just finished a course last week for civil service employability, and it was really, really good. It's just a 1 week thing, and they talked about how the civil service advertises its jobs and how to really properly read their job applications or the job adverts, because they're formatted in a very specific way. If you don't know this and you look at the job advert, you're like, okay, yeah, it says blah blah blah, and that's what the job is. But they train you know there's actually a lot of not encoded, but like it's written in a very specific way, and you're supposed to respond in a very specific way. So they taught you how to really read those job adverts and to properly apply for that job by picking out very specific keywords that they use and formatting your application to perfectly, ideally match what they're looking for is really in depth. And I was quite astounded at how in depth a job application can be. And the idea of like tailoring your CV for each job that you apply for, it really started to make sense. Um, Now, I don't know if I'm sort of tempted to go into employment in the civil service now, because it's a huge range of jobs. There's everything from um, job centre work coaches to the Met Office, to uh, the MOD, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Justice, MI5, MI6. So there's a massive range of different areas you can work in. I'd be going for a technical role. But living on the Isle of Wight, you can't do any of those. I'd have to relocate. And I really like it here. I really like it here. So I think I'm just gonna try and run my own company, see how that goes for a while. But if not, I'm gonna jump off the island and go work for go work for MI5, sure. Right. Um, but yeah, like, would you think about doing something like that? Go into a kind of careers oriented course. It can be a short one, and they can talk to you about like how to get your feet on the ground in a different career. And then you don't need to do like a year doing a master's. I need to come out and go, well, what the fuck do I do now? Would I want to work in MI5? No. That sounds very stressful. I actually, the reason I said the Met Office is one of the jobs I was looking at on the civil service was a junior Linux administrator. Uh, I'm actually applying for it, although I went. I'm applying for it for the experience of applying for it. It's a big confidence boost as well, like learning all these extra skills, being able to talk about yourself on paper. It's quite a difficult thing to do. Yeah, well, um, it's called Civil Service Employability Course. Now, I got it funded because I've been a bloody bum for the last 7 months. I've been unemployed. The job centre paid for it, which is nice with them. They didn't pay for much else. But yeah, I don't know how much it would cost if you don't get funding. But it's only a week, so I kind of imagine it's that much. It won't be as much as a master's. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. We've only got 5 minutes left. Obviously, I can run over the end, but let's get some squirrels made. So, what do we say? Spotted on. We want spotted on. We want a squirrel name. There's also going to be an ID because it's a database. Uh, there's going to be a name. There's going to be a location, and there's going to be an image. And no, images. Oh God, this is one thing I don't like about. Like, I've just typed image, and it's suggesting images, but I don't want to say images. I just want to say image, and now I want to go to the next line. If I press return, it's going to change it to images. I, I, I know you can turn this off, and I will, but it's just images. And if I press, I pressed escape. Oh, I think I accidentally pressed tab. Images. I think if I even press space, it does it. Oh no, okay. So space, backspace, enter. Sure. Yeah, complaint over. What else did we say? Likes. So that's going to be a counter. Oh, okay, that's great. Never mind. Technical difficulties over here. I think you can still see me. Uh, the laptop that I've got to the side here that you guys can't see. It's over there. I've got the stream up so I can see the stream. That it's all running okay and I can read chat. I've got to plug it in, so it just turned off. It ran out of battery. All right. I feel naked suddenly. This is weird. Models. Let's go. Let's get the models done and we'll wrap up for the day. I think this did models before. We go back here. Yes. Oh, this is another really nice thing I like about Django is hey, oh that's not happy. Yeah, you go away. So Python. If you just run Python, you have a Python shell and you can do Python stuff like you know Python. Well, when you're running your Django server, you can get a Python shell inside your Django environment. So you can, like with a Python shell, you can just start talking to your database and be like, database, do thing. with the proper, you know, syntax. Um, from right there, I love it. I think it's great. Which is what they're doing here. They're inside a Python shell. They've imported these models from their database, and they can list them out and do what they want. That's not what we're doing right now. So time zone. I guess technically we do need that for creating them. Okay. Class squirrel models dot model. Datetime field. Does this automatically have an ID? I maybe it automatically has an ID. They're not defining one, but surely it does, because it's a relational database. And it would be crazy to not have primary keys in your tables. I worked at a place where they had a big database with no primary keys on their tables. Absolutely mad decision. I don't know why they did that. So okay, let's just assume that they do. I'm going to assume that Django automatically gives you a primary key if you don't specify one, and the default should be fine for us. So we don't need the ID. We want spotted on. Let's just bring this all in. Models, the datetime field. Field. Okay. I'm gonna look this up in the Django docs. Come on. Really? Here we go. No. Can we just get the Django docs, please? There we go. Datetime field. Model field reference. Here we go. Is this right? Oop. Okay. Created. Yeah, this is really what we want. Created. DB default equals now. Database computed. And options. Auto now equals false. I think this is what we want. Basically, I want it to, whenever a squirrel gets spotted, it's just going to automatically timestamp it. Oh, you know what? I can steal my own code. That's a good idea. I should really set this up so you guys can see this, where I'm stealing my own code. Templates, models. Yeah. There you go. Exactly what I just said. I know what I'm talking about. Auto now add equals true. Sure. What else do we want? Foreign keys. We don't need any foreign keys. UUID. I could put that in for fun, but no. Getting a bit lost here. Okay, here we are. Name equals models dot char field max equals 255. Probably a min as well. Min equals 3. Location equals, I'm going to just do this as a char field as well. Min equals 5, max equals 8, sure. Images, you know what, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to leave that out for now. And then likes equals models dot integer field default equals 0. And we'll come back to images later because I'll probably need to change the project settings to allow images. Okay, yep, that should be fine. So let's see if this builds. Where's my terminal? So make migrations. Nope. And what are we looking at here? Unexpected keyword max. All right, max length. And I'm going to guess, I'm going to make a wild guess that it's also min length. Back to front there. And I said I'm going to stick to pep8, but let's just go for it. Min length. Did I mean max length? Okay, apparently you can't have a min length. Well, you probably can, but I'm not going to look that up right now. Hey, so we created a migration for the squirrel. I think we can actually where would this be? Migrations. Yeah, so you can actually see what it's going to do, but this isn't query language. Oh, you can get Django to spit out the query language that it's actually going to run. But once you've made a migration, so it's looked at my little model that I've made here, then when I run the migration, it's going to talk to the database for me and run this operation to create a table called Squirrel with these fields. Oh yeah, and look, there you go. It has got the ID. It's automatically pulled that in. It's an integer auto count. So the first one I guess will be 0 or 1. Sure. So my oh no, let's go that one. Okay, so now we have squirrels. Oh, hold on. If I go Squirrel Spotter web, oh, dear. All right. I'm just trying to run the server quickly on a different screen. If you're wondering what I'm up to, source and activate. Run server. Okay, so the server is. You know what? I can just close these. Server is running. Good. Now, manage.py shell. This is what I was talking about. So I'm in a Python shell, but I'm connected to the database. Just like in this example. So if I go from Squirrel, I've forgotten how to spell squirrel suddenly. Import squirrel. Okay. Then I can create a squirrel. S equals squirrel. Name equals Fred, obviously, because we're going with Fred Squirrel. Location equals home. Likes equals. Let's go for Final Fantasy VII reference. Why not? Is that gonna complain about spotted armor? I don't know. Looks like it's all right. Squirrel. We've got a squirrel. Okay, let's get the squirrel into our website. So from squirrel the models import squirrel. Fred equals no, how do we do this? Blah 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 blah. Oh, you can go into the Django admin panel and do it through a web interface. It involves clicking buttons. I much prefer a terminal. From models import question. Okay, question. We probably just do that then. Squirrel.objects.get squirrel.objects.get ID equals 0. Sure, because that's the only squirrel we've got so far. And then in our context, we're going to go Fred equals Fred, I think. Is that right? Is that how this works? And then just like Fred. Ooh, what? Something happened. Site can't be reached. Site can be reached. Welcome to Squirrel Spotter. Fred dot name. Oh, I might actually need to just restart the server. That makes sense. Ah. Fred equals Fred. It doesn't like that. Who's the pie? Okay, let's actually look at the example. The view. Okay. Smarty pants. Because it's JSON, I think. Ready? Fred equals Fred. Oh, no, because it's. What did I literally just say? Because it's JSON. You derp. Squirrel matching query does not exist. Squirrel.objects.get ID equals 0. What about squirrel.objects. Ooh. Okay. What happened to our squirrel? Oh, I'm surprised that's still connected. From squirrel.models import squirrel. S equals squirrel.models. Oh. Eh? Squirrel has no attribute models. I don't believe you. Oh, objects. Can you subscript squirrel.name? Something is amiss here. Why is it not getting any squirrels? What if we go Fred dot? Let's just subscript it here. All right. Moment of truth. If this works, we have made progress. If this works, we have squirrels. Let's see. Drum roll, please. Oh, it doesn't work. Why is that? Fred. There we go. It works. We have a squirrel. Okay. Run over by 15 minutes, but that's fine. We've got squirrels. The next stream is going to be on Wednesday evening at the same time, 7 o'clock till 8. The reason I'm hesitating is because I've got family visiting and they're almost certainly going to turn up at 7 o'clock because, sod's law and all that. All right, this is going to go up onto the YouTube channel, which you don't know about yet, but it's coming. Just going to put all the VODs up on there for now, but I'll probably start editing them down as well. The usual 2 YouTube channels, Twitch stream, Thanks for hanging out, guys and girls, and have a good evening. I'll see you next time.